I love it. Real men love clarinets. That's great. That's so true. Hello, everybody. I think we're live and rolling, so we could just take a few moments while people come into YouTube and Facebook. Hello, Amy. Hello, Ricardo.
Hello.
It's fantastic to have you on Tea with Mimi tonight. Welcome everybody who's joining us. This is live, as you know, as our viewers know, but it also remains up as a video, so the link will be shareable and people can catch it later on. So I'm really excited this evening to have some absolutely fabulous friends and artists on the show with me. Ricardo Morales, clarinet, Amy Oshiro-Morales, violin. I guess I do everything in score order, so wins and then strings in terms of introductions. But we're just really excited to share some of our recent recordings and concert recordings with you, especially projects of Dolce Suono Ensemble, of which I'm founding artistic director, and you are core artists. And so before we go right into some music, welcome everybody. Say hi as you come in. Please let us know what you're drinking. That sounds funny. This is called Tea with Mimi, so you could be drinking whatever beverage you have. What do you have this evening, Mimi and Ricardo?
Tea. This is vanilla caramel, and mine came from the, I don't know if you can see, from the museum. What's it called? Musical Instruments Museum. Music is the language of the soul. Show your mug.
I'm a little nerdy with the clarinet stuff.
Real men love clarinets.
I love it.
So there it is.
And I love clarinet. I have tea also. This is a nice wild berry one that I love. Actually, there's nothing on my cup right now, but Okay, so you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to start with the Mozart, and that is for flute and violin. So let me start by just formally introducing Amy Oshiro-Morales. She has been a member of the Philadelphia Orchestra since 2008, and before that was assistant concertmaster of the St. Louis Symphony, and made her solo debut with the Chicago Symphony at the age of 12, which is amazing. I know I'd read that before, Amy.
Long time ago.
You started playing violin when you were 3. How did you get started?
Oh, actually, I was even younger than 3. My mom saw that they were really inexpensive Suzuki violin lessons. She didn't know anything about it, but you could be a toddler, basically, and go. So she was like, let's go. And I don't really remember it so much, but like I was like not even quite 3. And it was great. And I liked it. I remember very consciously at 6 years old that I wanted to keep playing. So it was nice. It was like a surprisingly good match. And they were like, okay, we can do lessons. And neither of my parents were musicians, but I did want to like keep doing it. It like seemed fun, and it seemed like something that I could do and like not a lot of the other kids can do. So, it was like my little moments. And then things got really serious when I turned 9, because I went to a really, really strict teacher. He was the head of the string department in Northwestern University at the time, Myron Cartman. And he was like, no nonsense. And I was 9, and like suddenly everything was like, oh, you have to really practice now. And you have to really learn pieces, and you have to really vibrate. And but it was great. It was great. So, but yeah, I got this really nice opportunity after I won a competition to solo with Chicago Symphony. So yeah, it took off after that, so to speak.
Wow, that is so impressive. I kind of did a little detour to just talk to you about your early days, but let me continue introducing your incredibly impressive career. You've also soloed in addition to with the Chicago Symphony with the St. Louis, Napa Valley Symphony, Minnesota Symphonia. Were educated at the Juilliard School and Oberlin Conservatory, and perform very actively as a chamber musician at many festivals, and as a member of Dolce Suono Ensemble, of course. So I think I'm going to share our Mozart right away, just to put some music into the stream. But first, we're getting some lovely comments from friends who are watching. Kenneth Hutchins, thanks for being here. Oh, and thanks for telling us you were drinking Ohishi whiskey.
That's better.
Oh, we're coming over, Ken.
That is great. And Diane Spotto, a flutist colleague of mine. Hi, Ricardo. Long time no see since Manus Woodwind Quintet. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, how nice.
Yeah, and we have greetings from Saul Moses in Ronhurst, Philadelphia. Thanks, Saul, for being here. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We're going to put some duets from Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute. So we have Die Zauberflöte, probably in a more intimate way than you've ever heard it, possibly, if you're used to, of course, this great opera, one of Mozart's last. What's very interesting is that arrangements for two flutes or flute and violin or just assorted instruments were made the year after Mozart's death, and that was also the year of the premiere. So 1791, The Magic Flute is first performed. The next year is when these duets came out. And I always love reflecting on this because obviously this was before recordings. So you either, I guess, went to the opera or made music at home to relive some of the music that you heard at the opera. So these were very much for kind of at-home music making before the concert world took off the way we think of it today. So we have 3 arias. Amy, anything about those while I start picking up the share that I'm going to do? Or we can also talk afterwards.
No, I mean, I just loved like the opportunity to play it because it was really, I mean, I think the part I was looking at was written for 2 flutes, but it translates beautifully to violin. It really does. So I thought, oh, this is like really nice. I wasn't aware of the arrangements that you had suggested at the time, but like, oh, it's like very convincing. So I enjoyed it a lot. And Mozart always is like very recognizable in its style and form, and you know you can hear that in the duos as well. So I had a lot of fun.
Me too. It was so wonderful playing this with you, and I'm glad you brought that up because you definitely arranged further the arrangement, right, to make it even more violinistic.
But it worked very well, really well.
So I'm putting on some Mozart. 3 arias from The Magic Flute.
That was fun.
That was totally fun.
Bravi ladies, bravi ladies. Yay.
That was so much fun. It was fun to revisit that, Amy. We have
Yeah.
to do
The jackets look good. Your velvet jacket and my red jacket, they look good.
Thanks. I love the color you brought, and yeah. Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up because we definitely want to thank our engineers. The audio engineer was Eugene Liu. Videographer was Samantha Robinson, who did a beautiful setup in Christchurch Neighborhood House for the shoot.
Nice.
And this was actually part of Dolce Suono Ensemble's Fall for Chamber Music project, which we launched, and we launched it together in 2018. It was going to be a 3-year project. It got expanded and delayed because of the pandemic, and it became virtual. So the project was designed to happen at some of Philadelphia's civic venues like the Free Library and Christchurch Neighborhood House, and have free concerts and master classes and talks, just inviting people to fall in love with chamber music as much as we love it. And thankfully, also, we're very grateful to William Penn Foundation for making this project possible and for allowing us and welcoming us to make it virtual and to extend it because of the pandemic. So in some sense, we didn't get to connect it live to as many people, but we have these videos, which we're so happy to share online. And the Mozart and the Muczynski that we're going to share in a moment is part of that. But I was thinking, Amy, as we were getting ready to play this operatic music, we were thinking about the different characters that we were representing, like Papageno and then Sarastro, and then, of course, the famous Queen of the Night. Yeah. Those high Fs are just not that high for me, though.
Yeah, it's slightly less stressful for us.
About that. So before we introduce the next music, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I'm seeing lovely comments come through. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Ken. Star Wings, thanks for listening. Oh, and letting us know you're drinking water. That's good. We all want to stay hydrated on Tea with Mimi, whatever our choice. And Mr. Rick here from New Hope, PA. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here. We really welcome your questions. And actually, I did see one come through. Victor is asking about the DSC concert in June. That is June 26th. And it is an in-person concert on DSC Presents. And also that concert will be available as a virtual video that we released 3 weeks later, just like the DSC Presents concert that the three of us did with Charlie Romovic in October. And you asked what flute repertoire. So it's actually, we're calling it Three Shepherds, based on a piece by Rodion Shadrine for flute, oboe, and clarinet. So the concert features music for 3 winds and piano, and being joined by Baltimore Symphony colleagues and principals, Catherine Needleman, oboe, Yao Guangjai, clarinet, and pianist Natalie Ju. So we have some Handel and Mozart and Beethoven and Ruth Gibbs and Dana Suisse, Saint-Saëns, some other really good stuff. So I hope you come, everybody. Please join us or check it out on dolcesuono.com. And now another artist of both of you really don't need introduction, but I'm just so thrilled to introduce officially Ricardo Morales. Yay. He's been principal clarinet of the Philadelphia Orchestra since 2003, and before that, principal clarinet of the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. He has soloed with these orchestras many times, as well as with the Chicago, Cincinnati, Seoul, Flemish radio symphonies, and more, and has been a guest principal with numerous orchestras, including the Berlin Philharmonic at the invitation of Sir Simon Rattle. Many recordings of solo and chamber music, and started playing in his native Puerto Rico, along with your, is it 5 siblings who also are well-known musicians? Fantástico. So we're so happy to share some music that we recorded together. Bienvenido, Ricardo. Qué gusto verte. Como siempre.
Siempre es un placer. Yes, gracias.
Igualmente. So before we share Muczynski, because this is also recorded as part of the Fall for Chamber Music project, I have a feeling many of you, our friends listening, already love chamber music, but I thought I would just ask both of you, what do you love about chamber music? Or what stands out about making small ensemble music?
You go first.
Me? Actually, I like, obviously, the collaboration. It's a much more personal collaboration with the friends that you are involved in the chamber music piece. You get to have a more involved, more kind of a collaboration. You get to also have more of an personal input into the pieces, whereas as compared to doing orchestral things where you have the parameters are a little bit more diluted. But in doing chamber music, it's actually like getting together with your colleagues, your friends, to be able to try to create a music world by itself. So then there's a little bit more of that artistic responsibility. So I actually like that intense collaboration.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I would say, like, I love the artistic responsibility. I just love it because I'm a member of a string section of an orchestra. There's like almost 30 of us violinists. You know, we don't have that much individual say so. So my regular job with the Philadelphia Orchestra, like, no one's asking me my opinion on what tempo to take. I have them, and sometimes I really disagree with what tempo we were taking that day. But so for me, like for chamber music, I really like it that we can decide amongst ourselves, and that we really do have a lot of weight and a lot of say so in what we choose artistically, in our repertoire choices, in who we play with, and in what pieces we feel like putting together at that time. So I love the how did you call it, the more intensive artistic decision making that goes with that. So, and I think it makes sense for orchestra musicians like us to have these really creative ways to keep our chops up. We have to practice very differently when we're doing, concerts for DSE. There's a standard that needs to be met and kept. And, you don't practice with your, thinking about what you're going to make for dinner. You really, it's a very focused kind of practice that I think is just very good for us to do as well. So I always welcome those opportunities. So.
Wow, thank you for sharing your perspective on that, especially as distinguished orchestral players, but in every way too, as a flutist with a smaller solo repertoire than violin or piano. Chamber music affords so much variety in different ensembles, and I too love the intimacy of the musical collaboration and just the dialogue that happens in the music with one on a part in that way. And I guess by showing some duos, we're having absolutely the smallest groups you can have and be a group. So I think we're going to segue into the Muczynski duo, Opus 24 for flute and clarinet. Now, we recorded together, Ricardo, and one thing that really was meaningful for me is that there's a recording of this piece by Julius Baker, who is my teacher and mentor, and I miss him so much. But the legendary flutist recorded with the legendary clarinetist Mitchell Lurie, who I think you knew, right?
Yes, also I know him very much, and I even though I didn't take private lessons with him, he was one of my musical heroes and mentor, and he was a wonderful clarinet teacher and man whom I met when I was in high school. He was just the sweetest man possible. I want him to be my grandpa. It was just so great.
Oh, I remember
He
you
is so-
saying that.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
very, very nice, and he actually he exuded that in his playing, such sweetness and gentleness and a wonderful way of playing, for sure.
That is so lovely. I felt like Julius Baker was another grandpa for me. So that's so special. All right, I'm going to set up the share of the Muczynski. Anything we want to say, like what to listen for in this? The style, I mean, he's an American composer. He was well known as a pedagogue. He taught at DePaul University in Chicago, where he studied, and then he taught at the University of Arizona. He was a pianist as well as a composer, and he wrote a lot for winds. I know there's some well-known flute pieces, well-known clarinet pieces by Muczynski.
Yes, yeah, for sure. The timepieces for clarinet and piano is one of the iconic American repertoire pieces for clarinet. So it's we appreciate his writing very much. Good stuff.
Oh, lovely. Okay, well, I think these are very fun. The harmonies,
Easy, but
the rhythm is kind of in the dance-like aspect. So that there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. We welcome everyone's comments and questions. Please keep them coming. It's great to hear what you think about the music, listeners. And I am setting up Muczynski duos for flute and clarinet. Oh yeah, 6 movements. That was super fun. Oh, you're back.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah, Ricardo, I realized listening back to it, I never performed this piece. So it was really so incredible to do it with you.
Thank you. Me neither. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I have to thank you for asking me. And that's why I learned the piece for the first time.
It's interesting because I think sometimes wind duos are things we play with friends, or we play maybe at a festival, or like maybe if you're coaching a festival, you put different instrumentalists together and then you get to know the piece that way. But really, like I felt I learned his music really well through this process of making a recording, because we had to make so many decisions, but it had a lot of so much color and interesting moments where, for example, the flute is lower in register than the clarinet, which is less common. So it's just, very interesting writing, I think.
I noticed, like, in those movements that the ends of every movement had like they were either quirky or a little charming, or there was a little something always at the end. So it was cute. It was like a nice little shape that would segue into the next movement. It never ended like predictable or blah. There was always something there. So that's fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know what you mean there with the witticism of Muczynski. And actually, just kind of by chance, I was reading about him a little bit before today. He died on May 25th, 2010. So this happens to be that 12-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're getting some really nice comments. If you enjoyed this music, maybe we'll go hear more of his music as well. But thanks, listeners, for comments. We got greetings from Whitney Sky in Canada. Thanks for tuning in. So, but I wanted to ask you, Ricardo. We both had a very memorable experience in this season as soloists with the Marine Chamber Orchestra of the President's Own United States Marine Band, and performing with their director, Colonel Jason Fettig. So I'd love to hear about your project, or if you could share about that with folks, and then I'll share about mine, because it's been.
Yes, well, this was my second collaboration with them, and Colonel Fettig. Well, I'm with friends. He's just such a phenomenal musician. He's so great to work with, and the whole orchestra sounded great. And there was a great deal of enthusiasm for doing this project. This time around is the second clarinet concerto that I played with them. That they actually had. Say in the germination of the piece, which is fantastic. This was a concerto for clarinet by Jacob Banks, phenomenal young composer, and he actually, I met him when I was recording the previous concert there with Jason and the Marine Chamber Orchestra, which is really interesting. They were performing some of his pieces with the Marine Band. And I was really impressed with his writing, the Occidental Symphony for wind ensemble, for band, and it's such a great piece. And I was like, wow, this is really a fantastic piece. So we started talking, and then
you just went up to him, right? And
yeah,
you were like, hey, do you want to write me a concerto?
That's pretty good. Have you written a clarinet concerto? Say, have you been busy lately? So
I'm sure Jason. I'm sure Jacob was like, "What? Really? Okay."
Yeah, Jacob was fantastic, and since also Jacob and Jason had already had this really great collaboration, it was very easy for me to just piggyback right on that one. And I got to play the concerto. It was premiered in November here with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and it was just fantastic experience, and we were able to revisit it shortly after, right in January. So we were able to rethink certain things and talk about the piece, and it was just such a happy collaboration. So I was very, very grateful for the opportunity, and very grateful to Jason and the Marine Chamber Orchestra, who were just phenomenal. So
Colonel Jason.
Colonel
Jason.
Sorry. Yeah.
I know we call him Jason, and then we're told, he is Colonel
Fettig.
Colonel Fettig, right? So yeah.
That is just great. And we heard your fantastic premiere of it with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and was just so excited to share part of the season. I just premiered the Zhou Tian concerto for flute and orchestra with them as part of a consortium of 7 orchestras that commissioned it. Fantastic piece. And I think playing with those extraordinary musicians is so fantastic, but also just experiencing the culture and history of the Marine Band through this experience, led by the Colonel, was just so fantastic. So exciting. I can't, I'm bubbling over with that, but yeah, it's so great. And yeah, so let's go back to some chamber music because we have some other lovely things to share. I'm going to share, I think, maybe the first movement of the Melboni suite for flute, violin, and piano that we did on DSC Presents this season. She was a French composer who did not have opportunities really to get her music out there in the 19th century, but now is having some more attention to her music. But actually, when Saint-Saëns heard it, he said that he didn't know a woman could write such good music. So she was definitely a pioneer there. Yeah, so maybe we'll listen and chat a little bit more about it. Amy, this was from our From B to Z concert in October. Okay, setting up the share.
That's such a beautiful piece.
Didn't know a woman.
Okay.
Can they hear?
Such a lovely piece. I really love it. Yes.
It is, yeah. Wow, that sounds so beautiful. And I was just thinking, it's nice to hear it back, right? Because often we perform and we don't necessarily listen again or in the same way. How about you, though? I mean, do you listen to what your performance is later, or how does it feel different is what I want to know, because your sound right there in your lines, Amy, was so beautiful. I had more chance now to just feel the feelings differently from when you're playing and you're going to come in and think about your lines. So yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. I mean, of course, when you're, actively working on something, or that, you just recorded something. I mean, you listen to it and you're studying and you think, oh, maybe I could do this better, or this could be smoother, or whatever. You're always looking at like the tiniest details. But then when you have that little that distance, right? It's been like half a year since we played it, so it's nice. Like I was listening to it, like, oh, it's such a romantic sound. Oh, it's such a, oh, it whines like this. Oh yeah, of course I remember it, but you listen to it from a different perspective, of course. I mean, in a way, you can enjoy it better. I always find I enjoy it better with that distance, because when you're so close to it, I mean, I always say to Ricardo, I'm like, I'm so busy playing the violin, I'm not able to like step back enough. And I felt like, oh, I could understand the performance actually a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That distance, of time. But he loved this. Like when I was
from the beginning, the rehearsals,
and when I would just practice my part at home,
so
he
nice.
was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, this is, he really like could hear that, that romantic, that melancholy romantic sound, which he really loves. He loves that aspect of French,
cheesy kind of guy,
French repertoire, especially. So I would get a lot of encouragement at home when I would practice this. But yeah, what a nice piece. I didn't know anything about this particular composer either, but I think she's very representative of the French style, for sure. Right? You wouldn't mistake this for a Russian piece, for instance. Like I feel like she really captured that very lyrical singing, but like a certain, there's a color, I would say, to the French repertoire that I think is captured very much in this piece as well.
Absolutely. No, I would agree with that. And especially just as a flutist, we have so much repertoire of the late 19th into 20th centuries, chamber and orchestrally Debussy, Ravel, but so many flute composers, Taffanel, Gaubert, are very well known and have a kind of way of emphasizing timbre that I think Boni does maybe a little different way, in her own way, but really, really so lovely to discover this work. So actually, this is a big contrast, and that's actually a word I chose because next season you're joining Dolce Suono Ensemble on a program in which you'll play Bartók contrast, and we've never had that on DSE before. I'm so thrilled so it'll be the Bartók contrast debut. That is such a major work of the 20th century, just chamber music repertoire, not only trio for clarinet, violin, piano, isn't it?
Yes, huge, and with big fans, of course. Commissioned by Benny Goodman, so it was just fantastic. He was very much key into expanding a lot of the repertoire for clarinet, especially the 20th century stuff that is standard repertoire now, thanks to Benny Goodman and his great virtuosity in the jazz world as well as in the classical world. So we are very grateful. Not only the Bartók contrast, but also the Copland concerto, the Darius Milhaud concerto. So those were some of the very important pieces that now we can not think about having the clarinet repertoire of the 20th century without those pieces. So.
Yeah, just the important contributions of Benny Goodman are so interesting and part of this program we're going to do, even though it's going to focus on very weighty works by 20th century masters from Central and Eastern Europe. So we're going to, in addition to the Bartók, we're going to have some Shostakovich and Martinu and maybe Rachmaninoff. So I hope everybody listening, thanks for being here. Please subscribe, whether you're in Philadelphia or all around the world, because we offer our concerts virtually as well. So dolcesuono.com will have all that information about next season, as well as the current season, which is not yet over and still available virtually, including the Boni that you just heard. And also, I'd love to share a little bit of our Senso Tarantelle. because it's so much fun. The piece. And it was actually from the same concert last October on DSC Presents from B to C. We had a mixture of a lot of different music. So I think I'll share some Sanson maybe, and we can chat about it as we go. Just want to say hi to some of our listeners. Juhi, thanks for being here. She says hello to us. Adrian Lamon, thanks for being here too. Thanks for your comments. I'm reading some other lovely comments. So thanks for listening, everybody. And also, please know this stays on. So if you missed the live show or join late, you can come back to it and do share it with friends as well who might want to hear. So let's see. Anything special about the Tarantella other than kind of every time we play together, we play this piece. It's that classic, right? For clarinet and piano.
That's not to like. I mean, it's Sanson, some fluted clarinet. What else do you need?
Exactly. Yeah. So he wrote it. I mean, Saint-Saëns wrote it in 1857, kind of on the early side of his very long and prolific career. You'll see once again Charles Abramovic on piano, our DSC core pianist, my duo buddy of 20 years. Yeah. So here's some.
Yeah, and I mean, some people might know that he also on occasion plays piano for the Philadelphia Orchestra, and often he's asked to play repertoire that is just monstrously difficult, and like maybe atypical pieces, and
he always makes it sound so easy.
He sits there, and I look at him, and I'm like, "Wow, have you played this before?" And no one's played this before, and he plays it so well. So I mean, it really big shout out to him and his virtuosity, and he brings it to the Philadelphia Orchestra whenever he's there too. So we were always really pleased when we get to see him there too as well.
Absolutely. Well, you pointed out his reading is out of this world in addition to when he has seen the music before. But yeah, Charlie Abramovic as pianist, harpsichordist, composer, arranger. Really.
It's the real deal.
Absolutely. So here's the tarantelle, I guess the French term for the Italian dance, tarantella, to keep the poisonous sting of the tarantula.
The dance that one would do after they were stung, right? The crazy dance. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get the share going of the page with the Sanson. And here we have it. And I think it should be queued up. And go. Oh, that was so much fun.
The flute is too easy for you. I have to find something a little harder.
I don't know about that. No, it's like, playing with you, Ricardo. I always want to I want to be you. That's what it is.
Oh my God. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Oh, you're the one. You're the one.
Oh, Ken, thank you. You said just as good the second time around, right? In October. So, and we love that you're here now, and thanks everyone for being here. Definitely, if you have any questions about coming to concerts this season, next season, please write to me or Dolce Suono Ensemble or dolcesuono.com and the emails. Social medias, please do write if you want to join the email newsletter and get news, because we'd love to welcome you at other shows. And this has been just wonderful seeing you this way, although what's so nice is that we are seeing each other making music together in person these days with safety protocols, of course. But I want to thank you again so much, Amy, Ricardo, for your time and artistry.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for being always such a wonderful host whenever we come to, put together our programs together with you and Dolce Suono. We always
you always come up with very fun stuff to play.
We always enjoy it very much. Like, we love the people that we collaborate with, not just you, with the other guest artists that you invite. And I mean, your programs are always really so thoughtful. We always talk about it. I don't have that ability to put together programs, but we really admire, how you know how to tie pieces together and around a theme and a timeline. And it's just, fantastic. It really takes a lot of creative energy and effort, and you do that so well. So bravo to you, Mimi.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. That means so much to me coming from you. And it definitely is a fun part of the job, putting together programs based on ideas, but also just fitting together all these different instruments. I think when you're a wind player and you want to really probe the chamber music repertoire, really interesting things happen. So it's could not have a better team to do it with, and really look forward to more. Is there anything you want to share about something you have coming up, or before we say?
What do you have coming up? Oh, you should mention your Carnegie
concert. Yes, I'm
Aww.
very, very happy that I was asked to play a Mozart concerto with Philadelphia Orchestra and Yannick in Carnegie Hall for next season in December. So that's a very nice highlight. And shortly before
December
that,
what?
13th. I think it's a Tuesday. But also shortly before that, I will be playing the with CJ. Our illustrious principal violist, we're going to play the Bruch double concerto for clarinet and viola. So neither of us have had the opportunity to play, so we are really, really looking forward to being able to play that beautiful piece by Max Bruch. So it will be just two very wonderful opportunities to do some very nice concerts.
Oh, yes. Congratulations. They both sound absolutely marvelous. Cannot wait to hear those. And let me confess, I have stolen some of the Bruch trio. I have arranged some of the clarinet.
Good. Why not? Why not?
And it sounded nice. It sounds more beautiful on clarinet as a whole set, but some of them sound nice and fluid. We did it with Charlie Abramovic and Roberto Diaz a few years ago.
Lovely.
That's great.
But I could leave most of the repertoire alone. I mean, neither of us have that much, right? So,
I think sometimes it's done as violin and viola.
Yes.
Right? Yes, sometimes it's done as violin and viola.
Yeah.
I think some people think it was written that way. It was written for violin and clarinet, though, right?
Yeah, clarinet and viola.
I'm sorry. Viola and clarinet.
Yeah.
Right, but I think some people have the impression that it was arranged later for clarinet, but it was really, it was thought of as a wind and string, duo piece. So
yes.
Oh, okay. So I guess you can play it too then, Amy. But it's kind of legit if you.
It's okay.
Nice. Well, I just want to again thank everyone for being here. Oh, Cynthia Folio, thanks for your lovely comment. Whitney Sky, you just asked a really good question whether we live stream our concerts. So Dolce Suono Ensemble has not been live streaming, but we do release a virtual version with this professional audio video, like what you were seeing for the Boni and the Sanson, as part of an option. So tickets or flex passes. If you're in Philadelphia, you can attend, or if you're away anywhere in the world, you can subscribe or buy single tickets and get a video 3 weeks after the fact. So we'd love to have you do that. The information is on the website, but also you can just write to us directly if you have any questions about how it works. And we'd love to have you watch from anywhere in the world. So thanks for that question. And yeah, we hope to see all of you, whether it's virtually or in person. Thanks for joining, and look forward to seeing the both of you very soon.
Yay.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you everybody for
fun.
coming.
And thank you for watching and attending and asking questions and your nice comments. It's really encouraging for us to get to see that, in real time. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.